Asana receives a letter threatening that someone knows her secret and will divulge it unless they are met at a particular location. Yume and Akatsuki were the perpetrators. It is discovered when Asana arrives at the location, a restaurant. Yume apologizes for Akatsuki's prank while they are seated at a table, but Akatsuki continues to imply they are aware of Asana's open admission that she likes Mizuto. Asana admits that Mizuto was her first love, and in order to move the relationship along, Akatsuki offers Yume and herself as help in getting Asana to date Mizuto. Asana declines, however, stating that she is merely Mizuto's friend while also drawing comparisons to how she acted toward Mizuto in middle school. During Yume's inspirational speech, Asana says she wishes Yume had acknowledged his feelings for her. The next day, when Mizuto is leaving, Akatsuki sees Asana's underwear poking out. Asana, embarrassed, retreats to the bathroom and meets up with Yume and Akatsuki. Akatsuki discovers that Mizuto is probably not her ideal lover, and she thinks that in order for him to appreciate her womanly charm, they will need to engage in physical contact. Asana later goes back to the library and tries to follow their advice, but she fails terribly. Asana returns to Mizuto after receiving her makeover from Akatsuki, but he rejects all of her advances and gives her a nuji. Despite this, Asana asks Mizuto to comb her hair, which they regard as a success. Around the time of the scheduled meeting the following day, Mizuto shows up and advises that Asana give her speech. He then claims to have discovered the reason he was summoned out there. She does, and although Mizuto acknowledges that they have a lot in common, he regrets not being able to accept her confession due of his prior obligations to another person he finds attractive. Asana is questioned by Akatsuki and Yume the next day in the restroom about why she is still hanging out with Mizuto after he rejected her. Asana asserts that just since he destroyed her love doesn't preclude their continued friendship. Asana requests permission to go to Mizuto's house and check his book collection. Before she can, however, Yume and Akatsuki take Asana shopping for new clothing because her t-shirt is out of style. Asana quickly questions why he is there when both of his parents are home when he first enters Mizuto's home and his room. In order to prevent Asana from attempting to attract Mizuto, Yume steps in at that point. Asana responds that she views Mizuto as her close friend and the only friend she doesn't want to lose when Yume questions her about her feelings toward Mizuto. Asana responds that she views Mizuto as her close friend and the only friend she doesn't want to lose when Yume questions her about her feelings toward Mizuto. Asana then tells his parents that even though he had rejected her, they had remained friends and that she isn't his ex-girlfriend. A youthful Mizuto and Yume share a kiss after establishing their relationship. Eventually, Mizuto takes Yume to his room and extends an invitation to visit. Yume and Mizuto were both anxious about going to bed together, but Yume had no idea what Mizuto's true intentions were. When they had finished the book, Mizuto walked Yume home because he had wanted to read it with her. Even though they were excited about it, the two of them would complain about not sleeping together. They walk together on their first day of class as third-year students in the hopes that they will be in the same class. Mizuto, on the other hand, is placed in class 3-1, while Yume is placed in class 3-3. Yume complains that studying in the library isn't the same without Mizuto in class on April 5th at twilight. Mizuto pledges to hang out with her after school and over the holidays after she laments being alone in class. In the 9th grade, Yume joyfully informs Mizuto that she has acquired a new buddy in her class who shares her interests. After that, she would read a book recommended by the buddy and discuss it with Mizuto as they were walking home. Despite being a good thing, Mizuto would get disappointed when Yume's new buddy would intervene and spend time with her. Later, Mizuto would decide not to wait for Yume in the library, and when Yume finally runs into him to say sorry for being late because of her buddy, Yume begins to tell about how she mentioned him to her friend as they make their way home together, but Mizuto sternly states that he has no interest in hearing about her buddy. Mizuto would regret treating Yume rudely over her buddy after he got home. Yume may postpone her plans with her friends the following day in order to spend time with Mizuto, but when Yume gets to the library, she discovers him conversing with another girl. When the two of them were finished chatting, Yume approached Mizuto, who expressed regret for his previous actions and acknowledged his desire to keep Yume to himself. Yume responds by criticizing Mizuto for his dishonesty and the fact that he spoke with a different female while she was seated in her seat. Despite Mizuto's attempts to explain that the girl was seeking advice on a book, Yume takes it personally, and their conflict intensifies. At her home, Yume considers how deceived she felt by Mizuto's conduct, and Mizuto does the same with regard to him. Mizuto still regrets his behavior toward Yume on the occasion when she showed him some consideration. Yume and Mizuto would eventually cross paths at a bookstore. Since they both wanted the same book, Mizuto handed Yume the final copy in stock for her to read. Mizuto would properly apologize to Yume after they had eaten at a restaurant, and she would accept. When Yume went to the festival in August, she thought back to when she had first tried to bring Mizuto there but he had to cancel at the last minute. The day of their anniversary, August 28th, Yume observes that Mizuto didn't text her about it. As their disagreement grew, they decided to call it quits on the day of their middle school's graduation because they hadn't spoken to one another from Christmas until Valentine's Day. Yume asserts that the book she is currently reading was the one they initially shared in his room. They would then get into a heated debate over this. Subscribe to the channel for more anime recaps.